Welcome back! I've been doing a bunch of food restocking at home, so I thought it would be appropriate for us to start up this month with some cost-saving tips. Shopping for a family, or just buying for yourself, let's jump right in. If you're a bacon lover like me, you probably already know how great Costco is for buying in bulk. As you see, I've got so much of it. So first things first, I go for relatively thick sliced bacon. Honestly, I just like the texture. It's chewier, meatier, and holds up well in all kinds of dishes. Whether you're making a bacon, egg, and cheese, tossing it into pasta, or adding it to your fried rice, thick bacon just makes everything better. Plus, it's super versatile. Bacon can get really sticky when it's fresh, so I like to separate the strips a bit. Then, if the bacon's a bit moist or slippery, I'll just pat it dry with paper towels to remove some of that moisture. It helps the bacon freeze better and keeps it from getting all mushy later on. I layer each strip of bacon with parchment paper before I freeze it. This makes sure the bacon doesn't stick together into one big clump. Seriously, no more trying to pry apart frozen bacon slices. Just a simple layer of parchment between each slice and you're golden. Here's a fun one that I learned from another video a while back. It's called the bacon roll-up. I know it sounds a little weird, but it works. After you've separated the strips, roll them up like a little fruit roll-up. It takes up way less space in your freezer, and it makes it so much easier to grab a few strips when you need them. You just unroll it and you're good to go. I also like to save a few strips in the fridge for the week, so I don't have to keep pulling from the freezer every time I want some bacon. I keep it all together into a Ziploc or two. Freezing it properly like this keeps it fresh for longer, and it helps avoid that weird slimy bacon situation. If you've watched my previous videos, you know that I'm all about keeping my kitchen stocked with high quality, affordable ingredients, especially when it comes to making healthy meals. One staple I always have on hand is flour. Yes, flour. It might sound simple, but for us, it's absolutely essential. I'm not a fan of buying bread from the store. If you're like me, you've probably noticed how many ingredients are in the store, most of which I'd rather avoid. Things like enriched flour, which is highly processed and not something that I want to be eating regularly. And it can also be pretty difficult to follow a sugar-free diet if you're relying on a store-bought bread, so I choose to make my own. As a Romanian, bread is a part of my daily meals, but instead of buying it, I buy flour in bulk from Costco. The quality is great and it's high in protein, which is exactly what I want in my kitchen. I use it for so many things, from baking fresh loaves of bread to creating all sorts of baked goods. This time I made about 7 loaves of bread in one go. After prepping the dough, I wrap each loaf in plastic wrap and pop them in the freezer. This way I always have fresh dough ready to bake whenever I need it. The dough stays moist, and when I bake it, the bread stays fresh for 2 to 3 days. Now, you might wonder, why not just bake all the loaves at once and freeze the bread? I've tried that, but the taste just isn't the same as fresh baked bread. So here's what I do instead. I take one loaf out of the freezer, let it thaw for 1 hour on the counter or pop it in the microwave for about 10 minutes. Then I bake it at 430 degrees Fahrenheit for 30 minutes. It's the perfect way to get that fresh baked taste without spending all day in the kitchen and almost no effort. And let me tell you, there's nothing better than a slice of fresh bread with fried eggs and bacon in the morning. Or even just a warm piece of bread with butter. It's a simple pleasure, and with flour on hand, I can have that fresh taste every time. When I bring home a 2-pound block of sharp cheddar or Gouda or both, I don't keep it whole. Instead, I cut the big block into 4 or 5 smaller pieces. This way, I'm only taking out what I need each time and keeping the rest of the cheese fresh. Once I've cut the pieces, I wrap each one tightly in plastic wrap. This step is key because it prevents the cheese from drying out and helps seal in its moisture. After I've wrapped each piece, I store them in the refrigerator. The great thing is that cheese stays fresh for quite a while in there, anywhere from a few weeks to a month, depending on how quickly you go through it. But if you want to store it for even longer, freezing is also an option. Just pop the wrapped pieces in a freezer, in a safe bag or container, and when you need a piece, just pull one out, let it thaw in the fridge, and you're good to go. Cutting the cheese into smaller portions not only helps keep it fresh, but it also gives me the confidence of grabbing exactly what I need for recipes, like for eggs or pasta. Plus, it makes it easier to snack on a slice whenever I'm craving something cheesy. If you're someone who loves cooking from scratch, then you know carrots are a staple. But let's be real, a big bag of carrots can be a bit overwhelming, especially if you're trying to keep them fresh. So I've got a few tips to make sure they last as long as possible for my family. First off, I always peel them all at once. I know it's a bit of time commitment, but trust me, it's a game changer. Having them prepped means less work every time I need to cook, and it saves me tons of time in the long run. Then I store them in a glass jar. I fill the jar with water and pop it in the fridge, where they stay fresh for up to 3 weeks. Just remember to change the water every couple of days to keep them crisp. If I'm feeling extra organized, I chop the carrots into small cubes, perfect for soups, curries, or anything else that calls for them. I also sometimes leave them whole, peeled, and wrap them in plastic wrap before freezing them. This method can keep them fresh for up to a year, though I recommend using them within 10 months for best flavor. For us, carrots don't last that long. We go through them so quickly. If you're looking to add healthy snacks to your diet without breaking the bank, this one is for you. Now, I don't know about you, but I love having a healthy snack on hand, and nuts are one of my go-to options. Walnuts and cashews are packed with protein, healthy fats, and other essential nutrients, making them perfect for fueling your body throughout the day. But here's the thing, if you buy them in bulk, especially at Costco, you get a great deal and they last much longer than you might think. So here's how I make them last. After I get my bulk bags from Costco, I immediately divide them into smaller portions. I use Ziploc bags, nothing fancy, just simple, reliable storage. I make sure to label each bag with the date, or maybe not if I know that I'm gonna use them soon, then pop them in the refrigerator. Keeping them cool helps prevent them from going rancid, and honestly this method makes them last for months. I can grab a handful whether I need a quick snack and I don't have to worry about them spoiling too soon. Nuts like walnuts and cashews contain healthy oils that when exposed to heat or light can go bad quickly. Storing them in the fridge keeps those oils fresh and helps preserve the flavor and texture. It's a super simple step that makes a huge difference. Besides being an easy snack, walnuts and cashews are healthy. Walnuts are packed with omega-3 fatty acids, which are great for heart health, while cashews are loaded with magnesium and iron, which support your muscles and immune system. Whether you are adding them to your smoothie or just snacking on them straight from the bag, these nuts are a must-have. If you're a butter lover like me, you know that Costco is the place to grab a good deal on butter, but specifically this brand. I feel like it is the only real butter in America. What do you think? When you buy a big package, you need to store it properly to make sure it stays fresh and doesn't go to waste. Butter is such a versatile ingredient, really high in calories that I need. I use it in so many of my recipes. Whether I'm baking, cooking, or just spreading it on toast, butter is a must-have in my kitchen. The trick is to make sure you store it right so it lasts a long time. When I bring home a big block of butter, I don't just leave it in its original packaging. Instead, I cut it into 2 smaller pieces. This is so much easier for daily use. I keep 1 piece in a French butter dish on the counter, which makes it easy to grab for cooking or spreading. The other piece I store in the fridge. This way I've got soft butter ready to go for any meal, but the rest stays fresh in the fridge. An important tip: if you keep the butter in its original packaging, you might end up eating a little bit of the wrapper when you're trying to get the piece off the block. And that's why I prefer to cut it into 2 portions on a plate. It keeps everything cleaner and ensures I'm not accidentally eating bites of plastic. Plus, it helps the butter last longer by controlling how much I use at a time. The great thing about butter is that it lasts for a long time, especially when you store it properly. The piece I keep on the counter is in the French butter dish. It can last about 1 week or 2, but in my case it's max a couple of days, and I find that's the perfect amount of time for easy daily use. When it comes to buying peppers in bulk, especially at Costco, the possibilities are endless, and it's totally worth it if you know how to store them properly. I love using peppers in so many dishes, so I never let them go to waste. Here's my to-go method. I chop them into small cubes, mixing up the colors because who doesn't love a pop of color and extra flavor? And then I wrap them tightly in plastic wrap. I portion them out based on what I'll need for each meal. And here's the best part: even if I don't use all of it, I can just pull out what I need and pop the rest back into the freezer. Chopped peppers, when stored this way, can stay fresh in the freezer for about 6 to 8 months for the best quality. Technically, they can last up to a year if stored properly, which is awesome when you're buying in bulk. Frozen peppers are perfect for stir fries, soups, stews, sauces, you name it. Today I'm using some of my frozen peppers for a delicious baked beef dish. I just throw them in the pan frozen alongside sauteed onions and let them cook together. Now speaking of onions, I know some people freeze them too, but I just prefer to keep them fresh. Onions last up to 4 weeks at room temperature, and I always peel and chop them right before using. It just gives a fresher flavor to my dishes. What do you think? Does freezing work for you, or do you prefer keeping things fresh too? That wraps up for my Costco haul for today. Let me know in the comments if you loved this and if you want to see more hauls like this one. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe for more, and share your thoughts below. I always love hearing from you. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video. Take care. Today we're talking about buying in bulk at Costco. If you want to buy more for cheaper and keep for as long as possible, you have to store the food properly. I won't give you options for prepackaged food or sweets because those are not healthy for you. What you need to know is how to store correctly and efficiently what you buy so you pay less on groceries. Ingredient that I use in most of my dishes is garlic. Therefore, buying such a big bag might mean that most of it will go bad before I get the chance to even use it. But here is how I make it last longer in my kitchen. I add a part of it in a bowl so I can peel them. There are a few tricks to get the peel off faster, and what I do is to let them soak in water for a few minutes and you can remove the skin. In case it is still difficult to remove it, lay a clove of garlic on a cutting board and slice off the stem end. Place the flat size on the knife on top of it, push down and apply pressure until you feel the clove smash. The skin will split apart around the clove of garlic. Pluck the skin off the garlic. It will come off in big, nice pieces. Now it's time to blend it. You can either mince it or cut into small pieces with a knife. I blend until it is about to become a paste, but feel free to choose your own preferred texture. Once the garlic is ready, I add it into a tiny glass jar so it is easy to access it anytime I need to use it. Next, I fill the bottle with good quality olive oil. I give it a quick mix to make sure all garlic is covered in oil, and I keep it refrigerated. As you can see, when I need it, I just take a tablespoon of it. I do my cooking more efficiently and I don't waste the garlic as well. Another must-have from Costco is oats. I think it's such a great deal for a huge bag that's like $6 or something. And because the bag is so big, it might become hard to store it, and if you do get it, you might forget about it somewhere in the basement of your house. What I do to have it on hand is to add some in an old empty container of oats. I think I got it from Whole Foods. And you can use a glass jar or even Ziplocs, and it becomes easier and more motivating to use them. Same thing I do with chia seeds. If I want to have them close and easy to use, you can use this technique with other ingredients as well, like dried beans, whole grains, nuts, you name it. It's great when I do overnight oatmeal or banana bread oatmeal. These are a great source of fiber and it helps with digestion. It is also an easy way of having healthy sweets on hand that are sugar-free. This Gouda cheese is high in vitamin K, a great vitamin that helps with the absorption of vitamin D. But guess what? The vitamin D helps the calcium to absorb better in your body. But the packaging makes it less convenient to snack on. And once open, if you don't store it properly, it will get dry and it might end in the trash. I will show you 2 ways I do it, but first things first, let's remove the wax. I will cut into slices a part of it, and then I will prepare a bunch of parchment paper so I can separate them one from each other and add them in a Ziploc, then refrigerate. In this way, the slices won't be sticky. The rest of the cheese I'll cover in plastic wrap so it is easy to unpack when I need it. The plastic wrap will keep the cheese moist. As an example for my lunch, I will grate some cheese, then I wrap it back so easily and I can just store it back in the refrigerator. I was surprised when I saw how big this baking soda box is. Very affordable but huge. The way I make it accessible is by separating into tiny ziplocs. When I need, it is super easy to use the baking soda. In the kitchen, for example, I have one all the time on hand. Hello guys, let me show you today how to make delicious oatmeal cookies without any pinch of sugar. Start by mashing 3 well-ripe bananas. They add moisture, natural sweetness, and a bit of banana flavor. Crack an egg as it helps to bind the ingredients together. Add the salt and the baking powder. Then the milk, vanilla extract, a pinch of cinnamon, and now add the peanut butter and give it a stir. Add the mashed bananas to the mixture and finally the oatmeal. You have full recipe down below in the description. Let it rest for about 10 minutes. Add them on a baking sheet in the desired shape and decorate with some frozen blueberries. For the ones who want a bit of sugar, you can add some chocolate chips as decoration, but honestly I prefer the fruits instead. Bake to 350 for 18 minutes and this is it. Soft, sweet, healthy and fast. I think it's a great snack idea when you crave something. What do you think? Thanks for watching and please subscribe for more. See you next time! Hey there food lovers, welcome back to Outfit Kitchen. Today we're making a delicious and homemade granola oatmeal. That's perfect for snacks, for breakfast, or for even a crunchy topping on your yogurt. Start by adding 2 cups of old-fashioned rolled oats into a bowl. Add some chia seeds, some vanilla extract and cinnamon for flavor. Some walnuts and almond nuts. Today I chose raisins, but feel free to choose any other dried fruit. Honey or maple syrup to make it sweet, and some olive oil, but you can also use coconut oil instead. Mix well, add them on a baking sheet and bake at 360 for 25 minutes. Let them cool down. Add some chocolate chips, mix and enjoy. If you watched my videos, you know that I'm not a big fan of sugar, and so I had to figure out some desserts that don't suck. But they're also satisfying and healthy, and so I figured out this recipe that I want to share with you. It is super easy to make and you can just use some leftovers that you find in the house. I'm using 2 ripe bananas, I mash them well, and then I add 1 cup of oats. Add on top half a cup of chia seeds. They are a good match. I like to add some cinnamon and vanilla extract, and then I start adding my favorite nuts. Feel free to improvise and add more or less or even skip this step. Today I'm going to add some almonds and some walnuts. I give them a stir and then I'm going to add 1.5 cups of milk. As you can see, it's still a bit too watery, and so I'm going to add another 1/2 cup of oats. The reason why I'm doing that is so I have a layer on top of oats. Then I'm going to add frozen berries. I really enjoy blueberries, but feel free to add different fruits as well. And then I'm going to bake it at 360 degrees Fahrenheit for about 30 minutes. And then just enjoy it. Hi friends, welcome back. With everything getting more expensive, groceries included, I wanna help you save some money but still eat healthy. So today we're gonna be making 5 budget-friendly meals that are made with simple ingredients and that have just the right balance of protein, carbs, and nutrients you need. Just 10 minutes of hands-on and the oven does the rest. We're starting with the protein since it takes the longest to cook. I'm using 90% lean beef chunks, but feel free to use any cut of beef you prefer. It all works well here. Add your beef to a baking pan. I like to rinse it quickly under cold water, then pat dry. Season simply with salt and black pepper, sometimes less is more. Drizzle about 1 cup of tomato sauce over the top, then add another 1 cup of water to help distribute the flavor evenly. Cover with a lid or foil, then place in a preheated oven at 370 Fahrenheit for about 1 hour and 30 minutes. When it's done, just look at the texture. Tender, juicy, and full of flavor. While the beef is resting, let's warm up our side. In a saucepan, add a can of drained green beans and a spoon of melted butter. Cover and cook over medium heat for 3 minutes. Just enough to bring out the flavor. If you prefer fresh green beans, those work too. For the dressing, I'm using Greek yogurt seasoned with a pinch of cumin and salt. Add a splash of water to thin out slightly if too thick. Then blend or whisk for about 30 seconds to 1 minute until smooth. For some healthy fats, I'm adding fresh avocado slices. Let me know in the comments what you would pair this with, and don't forget to subscribe for more. This one has the perfect balance of protein, carbs, and nutrients, and that makes it a really healthy, simple lunch idea. We're starting off simple by thawing the salmon in warm water, since that takes the longest. This quantity will be enough for 4 servings. Next, cut the potatoes. You can pat them dry with a paper towel to remove excess starch and moisture. This helps them crisp up better in the oven. Transfer them to a baking sheet, then drizzle generously with olive oil. I like to use my hands to make sure every piece is well coated. Don't season them yet, salt can slow down the crisping process. Bake them at 370 Fahrenheit for about 35 minutes. While those are in the oven, bring some water to a boil in a pot. We'll use it to steam the carrots. I'm using a simple setup with a strainer over the pot. Steam them for about 8 to 10 minutes depending on how soft you like them. Once the salmon is fully thawed, remove it from the packaging. I personally prefer wild Alaskan salmon It has a cleaner taste and fewer additives than farmed salmon, which I avoid unless dining out. Score the salmon gently with a knife. This helps it cook more evenly and also makes flipping easier if the skin is still on. Season the cuts with salt and black pepper to distribute the flavor more evenly. Heat some olive oil in a stainless steel pan over medium heat. Olive oil has a lower smoke point, so keep an eye on the temperature to avoid burning it. Once the oil is hot, add 2 pieces of salmon at a time. Let them cook for about 5 minutes without moving them. Patience here really pays off. Then flip and cook for another 4 minutes or until done to your liking. Now for the green beans, I'm using canned ones for convenience, but fresh will work just as well. Warm them through in a pan for about 3 minutes. By now the carrots should be ready too. You can test them with a fork. They should be tender but not mushy. I overcooked mine slightly, so next time I'll steam them for just 8 minutes. I like to layer the green beans over the carrots, then drizzle with a little olive oil, salt, and black pepper. The potatoes are now beautifully roasted and ready for seasoning. Add salt and black pepper to taste. I prefer to keep it simple. And that's it. This dish is wholesome, satisfying, and makes for generous portions. Feel free to add your favorite toppings or sauces when serving. We're starting with the shrimp. I'm using about 700 grams of wild shrimp today. If you can, always go for wild caught over farmed one for a cleaner taste and fewer additives. My shrimp were frozen, so I defrosted by soaking them in lukewarm water for about 5 minutes. Then patted them dry using paper towels. This is important to help them sear nicely in the pan and prevent any oil splatter. Now let's heat up a stainless steel pan on medium heat, and I'm adding a generous amount of olive oil. Since shrimp cook very quickly, this dish comes together fast, but olive oil does have a low smoke point, so make sure your heat isn't too high. Once the oil is hot, in go the shrimp. Spread them out evenly and let them cook for about 3 minutes on one side without touching them. This gives them a nice golden color. Then flip them over and cook for another 2 minutes or until they've turned a beautiful pink and have slightly curled up. Remember, shrimp are super easy to overcook, so keep an eye on them. Once they're done, remove them from the pan and place them on a plate lined with napkins or paper towels to soak up any excess oil. I like to keep the seasoning simple, just a sprinkle of salt, but feel free to get creative. Smoked paprika, garlic powder, or a splash of lemon can all add amazing flavor. You can absolutely use a rice cooker for this next step, but if you don't have one, here's how I steam rice on the stovetop. Start by rinsing 1 cup of rice under cold water at least 3 times. This helps remove extra starch so the rice turns out fluffy, not sticky. Then add it to a saucepan and pour in water about 1 inch above the rice level and bring it to a gentle boil. Once it's boiling, turn the heat down to the lowest setting and let it steam slowly until all the water is absorbed. Avoid stirring or uncovering it too often, just let the steam do its job. This takes about 10 to 15 minutes depending on the rice. Now for our green beans, I'm using canned ones today for convenience, but fresh ones work just as well if you have the time to trim and steam them. Toss them into a small pan, cover it with a lid, and let them heat up on low for about 3 to 5 minutes. Since canned greens usually come pre-seasoned with a bit of salt, I keep it simple. Sometimes just a drizzle of olive oil or a touch of butter adds a nice finish. It's a delicious meal that strikes the perfect balance of protein, carbs, and essential nutrients. We're starting off with the beef since it takes the longest to cook. This recipe makes approximately 4 servings. I slice the beef into 1-inch thick pieces and season generously with salt and black pepper. Keeping it simple makes a difference as you can taste the natural flavors better. Next, I add 1 cup of tomato sauce. I'm using Rao's brand because of its clean, high quality ingredients, and 1 cup of water to help everything blends together. For extra flavor, I thinly slice about 3 cloves of garlic. I gently place some slices into the sauce and the rest directly on the meat. This gives it a delicious garlicky touch. Once everything is combined, I place the pot into a preheated oven at 370 Fahrenheit and bake for about 2 hours. While the meat is cooking, bring a pot of water to a boil for steaming the broccoli. I use a simple setup with a strainer over the pot. Steam the broccoli for about 6 to 10 minutes depending on how tender you want it to be. This meal is very customizable. Feel free to swap your favorite vegetables. Green beans, for example, make a great alternative. Next, I add 2 ears of corn to boiling water and let them cook for about 6 to 10 minutes. Cooking time can be different depending on the size and freshness of the corn, but 8 to 10 minutes is usually perfect for a tender bite. Once the broccoli is well done, I like to keep it simple with just a pinch of salt, but you can add your favorite seasonings. For the corn, I use a method that I learned from the people of Indiana. Just melt some butter on top and sprinkle with salt to taste. It's incredibly simple, yet so flavorful. Beef is now ready, and as you can see, the tomato sauce has created a rich, flavorful base. The meat is tender, juicy, and full of taste, yet so easy to make. This meal takes under 30 minutes of active preparation and yields 4 generous portions, making it perfect for meal prep. It stores well in the refrigerator for up to 3 days. You don't need to be a chef to eat well. This dish is nourishing, easy to prepare, and absolutely satisfying. Feel free to customize it with your favorite sauces or toppings and enjoy. To begin, I heat a bit of olive oil in a stainless steel pan over medium heat. Once it's warm, I add a small amount of ghee for extra richness. Though if you don't have ghee on hand, regular butter works just as well. Into the melted fat, I add freshly minced garlic, giving it a quick stir to release its flavor and aroma. After about a minute or so, I grate in some fresh ginger. The combination of garlic and ginger creates an incredibly fragrant base that instantly fills the kitchen with an amazing smell. Now let's prepare the chicken. I'm using skinless chicken thighs, which are tender, flavorful, and cook beautifully in a pan. For seasoning, I keep it simple but bold, a sprinkle of sea salt, freshly ground black pepper, and a generous pinch of smoked paprika. Feel free to add your favorite herbs or spices. This is a flexible recipe, so make it your own. Place the seasoned chicken thighs into the hot pan. Let them sear until golden brown on one side. This usually takes about 7 to 10 minutes, depending on the thickness. Try not to move them too much, allowing them to form a nice crust. While the chicken is cooking, let's prepare a creamy yogurt-based dressing to complement the dish. I prefer using a blender for a smoother consistency, but a simple whisk or spoon will do the trick as well. To the yogurt, I add a pinch of ground cumin, a little salt, and just enough water to reach a creamy, pourable texture. Blend it all together for about a minute and that's it. You now have a delicious tangy dressing that adds a fresh contrast to the rich chicken. Once the chicken is beautifully cooked and golden, I serve 2 thighs per portion topped with about 3 tablespoons of the yogurt dressing. To round out the meal, I move on to the green beans. In another stainless steel pan, I add 1 can of green beans along with a tablespoon of butter. Cover the pan with a lid and let the beans warm through and absorb the buttery flavor. This should take about 2 to 3 minutes. It's a simple step, but it really elevates the texture and taste of the beans. For a final touch, I add a few slices of red pepper cheese and Colby Jack cheese, which melt slightly and add a savory richness to the plate. And there you have it, a quick, healthy, and delicious homemade lunch. It's nourishing, flavorful, and ready in no time. I promise, so let's dive right in. Rinse under water 2 pieces of good wild Alaskan salmon and get them dry with a napkin. Add them on a baking sheet and let's mince a clove of garlic and slice a couple of lemon pieces. Squeeze some lemon juice on top of garlic. Add about 2 tablespoons of good olive oil, about a teaspoon of salt, a bit of black pepper, and chop some fresh cilantro. Mix them all together and add the mixture over the salmon. Decorate with lemon and some extra cilantro on top of it and bake for the next 13 to 15 minutes to 450 degrees Fahrenheit. This is it, juicy, soft, with many aromatic flavors and of course no damaged skin. Thanks for watching. If you liked the video, please subscribe to the channel for more. This beans stew recipe is a savior when you want something fast, nutritious, and delicious. It takes only 20 minutes to prepare, and once you try it, you will want to cook it daily. So let's make it together. In order to get started, dice the onion as finely as you can. And then saute it on a medium heat in olive oil and with the garlic. Add the spices all together and give it a generous stir. My secret for this recipe is the tomato paste, which gives to the dish an amazing flavor. The walnuts is one of the main ingredients, so 1 cup is the minimum amount that I use, and the more finely you grind it, the better the flavors will melt together. Add it to the mixture and stew for about 1 minute or so. This recipe is super easy as you add canned kidney beans. You don't need to worry too much about their preparation. Just add them on top of the mixture with warm water and bring it to a boil. Another secret of this recipe, to get it creamy and delicious, it's to mash 50% of the beans. You can do it while cooking the way I do it, or just prepare them in advance, mashing them with your hand or a spatula. Finally, sprinkle the coriander for a boost of flavor and smell. I hope you liked this video. Please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Shrimp curry has become my to-go dish when I'm on a rush or when I want to be a bit fancy. It's a family favorite and is not only budget friendly, but also incredibly delicious and customizable. There's no way we would skip making this curry even once a week. In fact, I've cooked this recipe for about 10 times this past month, and no exaggeration. If you don't believe me, just give it a try. The preparation is super simple. I start by chopping half an onion, grating 1 teaspoon of garlic. Then I sauteed them in olive oil for a few minutes. For today's version, I'm using carrots, which I cut into large chunks. Next I add some yellow curry paste, which is an absolute game changer. If you don't already have it in your kitchen, I highly recommend you get some. I recently discovered that this curry pairs wonderfully with eggplant, so today I'll be adding half an eggplant, chopped into chunks. I season it with a pinch of salt and then cover everything with organic coconut milk. Add about a cup of water, stir it all together and bring it to a boil. Once it's boiling, I lower the heat and then let it simmer for around 7 minutes. While the curry is cooking, I prepare my shrimp. I keep it frozen and just add warm water to thaw it in a few minutes. It's quick and convenient. For herbs, I use fresh coriander, which has a strong flavor and is our absolute favorite. When the vegetables are almost fully cooked, add the shrimp and let it cook for another 2 to 3 minutes until the shrimp is fully cooked through. To serve, I like to pair the curry with jasmine rice, which we discovered is super budget friendly. You only need half a cup per portion. I like to boil it, and the combination with the curry is just amazing. This recipe makes about 4 portions, so it's perfect for meal prep or leftovers. It's quick, under 20 minutes, but also delicious and nutritious. Shrimp provides protein, carrots are packed with vitamins, and the spices bring it all together in a perfect harmony. Trust me, this shrimp curry is a must-try. Give it a go, and I promise you'll love it.